NASA congratulated India for making history after becoming the first nation to land on the Moon's south pole, while Russia and China have stayed silent. India has accomplished what the rest have failed. Russia attempted a similar feat last week, but its spacecraft crashed into the lunar surface, and NASA and China are years away. The Southeast Asian nation's Chandrayaan-3 made a soft landing at 8:34 a.m. Eastern Time Wednesday, sparking cheers and applause among the space scientists watching in the southern Indian city of Bengaluru. The craft, which means moon vehicle in Hindi and Sanskrit, landed on the South Pole, beating the US, China and Russia to the unmapped region. The South Pole is an uncharted territory that scientists believe could hold vital reserves of frozen water and precious elements. Indian Space Research Organization's ISRO successful mission marks its emergence as a space power as the government looks to spur investment in private space launches and related satellite-based businesses. Chandrayaan-3 is expected to remain functional for 2 weeks, running a series of experiments, including a spectrometer analysis of the mineral composition of the lunar surface to determine if there is water ice. India's pursuit of space exploration reaches a remarkable milestone with the impending Chandrayaan-3 mission, poised to achieve a soft landing on the lunar surface, ISRO said in an earlier statement. This achievement marks a significant step forward for Indian science, engineering, technology, and industry, symbolizing our nation's progress in space exploration. India had attempted to land on the Moon 4 years ago with its Chandrayaan-2 lander. But the spacecraft crashed on the lunar surface, destroying both the lander and rover due to a software glitch. India's successful second attempt came less than a week after Russia's Luna 25 mission failed to touch down on the South Pole. The Luna 25 spun into an uncontrolled orbit and crashed. NASA's Artemis program aims to return astronauts to the Moon and intends to land its Artemis 3 mission in the South Polar region in 2025. And China has plans to build a lunar outpost in the region at some point. The Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft began descent at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, slowing down its thrusters for a soft landing. The craft had just 2 engines firing as it approached the surface. An animation of Chandrayaan-3 was shown in the control room, allowing the team to watch the mission in real time. Carla Falatico, a partner and managing director at consultancy Spacetech Partners, said, "Landing on the South Pole of the Moon would actually allow India to explore if there is water ice on the Moon. And this is very important for cumulative data and science on the geology of the Moon." With a push by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India has space launches and is looking to open the sector to foreign investment as it targets a 5-fold increase in its share of the global launch market within the next decade. Modi was seen on a live-stream broadcast into the ISRO's control room, smiling and waving an Indian flag as Chandrayaan-3 landed. "India is now on the Moon," he said. Dr. Ian Whitaker, a space physics expert at Nottingham Trent University, said, "The successful landing means that the rover and station should provide us with a more accurate determination of lunar crust composition, particularly around the lunar South Pole, a suggested location for a lunar base due to the ability to have constant sunlight for power. The instruments on board the rover will be useful if we want to build structures out of local material." Indian schoolchildren will have all watched the landing in schools. It is really seeing science in action and will inspire a new generation of space scientists and researchers. The mission marks a significant turnaround for India, which was once seen as a third-world country but is now developing to become an industrial powerhouse. India is considered America's major defense partner and has received billions of dollars in U.S. security aid. Over the last 20 years, U.S. foreign assistance to India has exceeded $2.8 billion, including more than $1.4 billion for healthcare. A few hours before the scheduled landing, the mood was upbeat at the spacecraft command center on the outskirts of Bengaluru as ISRO officials and scientists hunched over massive screens monitoring the lander. Anticipation before the landing was feverish, with banner headlines across Indian newspapers and news channels running countdowns to the landing. Children gathered on the banks of the Ganga River, considered holy by Hindus, to pray for a safe landing, and mosques in several places offered prayers. At a Sikh temple, known as a Gurdwara, in New Delhi's capital, Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri also offered prayers for Chandrayaan. Not just economic, but India is achieving scientific and technological progress as well, Puri told reporters. Rough terrain makes a South Pole landing difficult, and a first landing is historic. The region's ice could supply fuel, oxygen and drinking water for future missions. Many countries and private companies are interested in the South Pole region of the Moon because permanently shadowed craters may hold frozen water that could help future astronaut missions.